Honorable Minister Designate, proceed to tell us about yourself in 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am Joseph Bukari Nkwe.
Terrible scenes as we are. Action whilst Dafia Mekpo is speaking, trying to make a point as to what exactly is happening. No, I'm not tired at all. I'm not tired. Well, we'll see what happens from here, where a lot of public property now destroyed, tables, microphones, completely damaged, a lot of security.
Truly, anytime we are coming to vet, we have a schedule of the number of nominees who will be vetted each day. All right? Now we have a list of those who will be vetted today. We have exceeded that number, and you are continue to bring more nominees. You know, at what time are we going to work with the list so that it's like an ambush? All right? Out of nowhere, they just pull nominees to come to the table for fighting.
Well, it's chaos. There's a table. There's an attempt to move some tables from there. They say they're not going to allow that. Honorable. There's a confrontation. Well, the former deputy minister for trade, the former deputy trade and industry minister Ochibefi clashing. This is literally a clash. This is literally MPs involved in fisticuffs, and they say that the vetting process must not happen. There's heightened security. The marshal is himself here in the middle.
You can't do focus. You cannot also the other way. You fight. We will do it, but we are not.
It's a lot of confrontation with a lot of people not willing to do anything. The clerk is trying to organize the space. He's trying to put all the tables together to ensure that things are done appropriately for this vetting to ultimately happen. But the MP say they will not allow that. They try and put things together, and they say that they are not going to allow that. They are not going to allow that. It's a big confrontation. It's a big confrontation. The minority leader himself in the cart trying to do this. Honorable Kami Bakwe really confronted and ultimately saying that they are not going to allow that. Well, a lot of violent scenes right here at the appointment committee with the clerk of parliament himself here trying to try and sort things out. There's a table there, as you can see. The table has been just lighted. The chairman himself on his head. Well, the tables, the microphones are being destroyed. The microphone has just fallen down. The microphone has just fallen down, and they are being destroyed. Things have literally been destroyed. Public property are being damaged there. Where with this confrontation in the middle of all of this, with a lot of talk about what must happen, and if ultimately this vetting must go on, the NPP are clear in their mind that no vetting should happen today. And you see the leader himself here and insisting that this vetting should not happen. Mahama Yariga there, together with the minority leader in there trying to have a conversation. And we are also trying to get a bite. There's a negotiation happening right in the middle of this vetting process as the leaders try to reach some agreement for the vetting process to continue. Alexander Fenyomakin telling majority leader that they agreed to vet 5. They have vetted 5 persons, and they expect that this process will come to an end and that they will not allow any more persons to be vetted. a lot of confrontation. The majority leader now, as you can see him there in the middle of this situation, trying to very much get things under control, speaking to NPP MPs to try and calm tempers. Mama Ega says he wants things to happen. You can hear Frank Anodon, the minority chief.
It's not going to happen.
Not happen. It will not happen today, and that also
unnecessary.
Right.
Even the candidate nominees that we didn't agree, we have done it. Kofi Adams was not part of the arrangement. We compromised and did it. We agreed on 4. We have done 5. They should understand. What is this? Why? Look, some of them we spend less than 30 minutes on them. We can't do proper vetting with this short time. They should understand this. Otherwise, it will not happen. It will not happen.
Yeah. The leader and his chief whip are added them on this matter. They say it will not happen. He's trying to take the leader out to try and have some conversation outside. Frank Anodon himself saying this will not happen, and then ultimately a decision would have to be taken in terms of what exactly they would have to do next. As they do this, the time is going, it's 10:14 p.m. and the public is out there watching members of parliament in a scaffold dragging tables, and there's chaos. As you can see, a microphone just raised from the floor. It hit the ground. It has totally been destroyed, and there's a lot more people saying that should not happen. The majority leader currently in dialogue in the middle of the room with the majority and minority leaders and all the other persons. They say this will not happen. This will not happen. Seeing your shot, the microphone that was damaged, it hit the ground, and this all this happening right in the middle of all this. Austin Game trying to calm things, and that's a violence, that's a fight. This is literally 2 MPs at each other's net. Honorable Hassan Tampuli together with Roxy Nelson Dafemeko pushing, holding each other's clothes as we speak, and their leaders are trying to separate them, and none of them will allow this to happen, and they've been separated as we speak. But this is chaos. This is a lot of very not so nice scenes as the marshals and other persons try to separate the conflict and the confrontation that is currently ongoing here at the appointment committee, where really not so much good scenes. The 9th parliament is starting on not so good scenes so far. A lot of policemen walking in. Our policemen are walking in. A lot of policemen from the parliamentary protection unit have now walked in, and they are trying to ensure that there is order and there is calm here ultimately for this process to happen. But this table has become the center of attraction, with MPs pulling and pushing with a lot of confrontation. Please pick it. Yeah. This is chaos. Well, as you can see, this MP says they will not allow these tables to be, the tables are literally being pushed, where the NDC MPs trying to rearrange the tables. The MPP MPs are not allowing this to happen, and these are really terrible scenes as we are seeing in Parliament, with honorable members right at each other's throats, fighting and pushing and pulling tables, saying that this vetting will not happen, that the pushing and pulling is ongoing. This is chaos. This is chaos right here in Parliament. These are reminiscent of some of the scenes we saw when the Speaker of Parliament was elected in the 8th Parliament. But this time around, this is happening at the Appointment Committee of Parliament. A small group of people trying to have some agreement in terms of what exactly they have to do. And there's absolutely no agreement. This is chaotic. This is chaos. The MPs at each other's throat, they say that this will not happen. The vetting process, they will not allow this to happen, and they have push and pull. The police have been beefed up. There's a lot of policemen now in the building where they're trying to sort out the situation and calm things, but it's chaotic. It's really chaotic with all the things that are happening here. Well, It's chaos. The table have been turned. It's chaos. It's chaos. It's chaos. It's chaos. The table have turned. More microphones are falling to the ground and things are being destroyed. The table has broken. The table has been broken with all that we are seeing here. It is obvious that this vetting may not happen. It is obvious that this vetting may not happen with all that is happening, with public property being destroyed and all that is being happening. There's a certain understanding that perhaps this will have to be resolved in another way, and it is clear that this vetting cannot happen with what we are seeing currently here in Parliament. There's chaos, it's chaos, it's chaos. This is chaos. This is chaos. I'm not sure that this is what a lot of members of Parliament envision or envisage, that coming here today, this is what is going to happen, with tables being broken, with a lot of issues still unresolved as members of Parliament try to resolve this situation. There's a lot of policemen now in the middle of this. The leadership are trying to talk about this and how some conclusion in terms of what exactly should happen. But the MPs are bent with their insistence that this is not a vetting that they are going to allow to happen. Tables getting broken, microphones are getting destroyed. This is chaos, and this is really much more unprecedented. This is not even like we saw during the election of the speaker, because it was a much bigger space and the conflict was resolved quite in a much more better way. But this is literally MPs at each other's throats. This is literally MPs fighting and saying that their respective positions that they've taken, that this vetting will not happen, And if they cannot agree, then they are going to use violence, they are going to use confrontation to try and resolve this. And ultimately, will they get their way or will they not? It's something that we are still out here trying to see what will happen with leadership on both sides, trying to engage in the middle of this. But one would say that Parliament itself would agree that this does not reflect well on the institution of Parliament. This is a matter that could have been, discussed as caucuses and some agreement reached. But if MPs had to go at each other's throats, tables are broken. Where I stand, I see a table that is completely broken. Two tables, the legs, all the tables are completely damaged, completely destroyed. There's absolutely no way this vetting can be used. You can see Collins out there in the middle of this, trying to resolve this and get all of this to conclude. Things have calmed down a bit, but we'll get to see what happens with this. While all this happening, Kwabena Mintah Kando is calmly sitting at his desk, awaiting for the oath to be administered to him. Samuel Okudjota Blakwa is also seated, and this is really chaotic scenes over here. Let me get close a little bit to the action whilst Dafia Mekpo is speaking, trying to make a point as to what exactly is happening. No, I'm not tired at all. I'm not tired. Well, we'll see what happens from here, where a lot of public property now destroyed, tables, microphones, completely damaged, a lot of security personnel in here trying to resolve this situation. The conflict as we've seen, and for those of you just joining our coverage from the appointment committee, this is a confrontation that has come about as a result of the NDC saying they intend to vet all all other ministerial nominees, while the NPP have said they will not do that because they believe they've done this for a long time. This process should not continue, and that they should continue. Earlier on, there was a suggestion that given what was going on, this must be put to a vote because it's a majority system. And if you look at the appointment committee, it's an 11-member committee with 7 NDC MPs, and then there are 4 NPP MPs on it. So if you went to a vote, the NPP obviously would have been defeated on this matter, and that is why they were clear in their mind that they were not going to allow a vote on this matter. They were going to use
there's no movement whatsoever. It's a total standoff.
Kwame Agoja there talking to the deputy whip, saying that they 7 have quorum on their own and they should be able to proceed and do some of these issues without ultimately leading to anything. And so it's valid confrontation. Many more NPP MPs have gotten out now. Mahama Yariga and the minority leader walked out to try and have a conversation. They are back with an agreement. We will get to know pretty shortly what exactly the agreement is, following that they have returned from that little break of theirs to go and talk and then decide on what they are going to do for the next. And so the leaders are back, and they say that they will vet the nominees, or they will find a way to try and have an understanding of how exactly this process will continue. For those of you just joining, Joy News live coverage of a lot of violent confrontation as we've seen here. Tables have been broken, completely microphones have been destroyed, members of parliament have been at each other's throats. It's been violent confrontation with the NPP and NDC MPs at each other's throats over whether or not the vetting must happen or not. The leaders have gone out to converse. They've gone out there to go and speak. You see Mahama Yariga there asking people to sit down. This is the table that is completely destroyed, that has now been raised. This table, you can see, it's a table that should have 4 legs, but it's a table with only 2 legs, because when the confrontation did happen, 2 legs got broken, microphones on it all got destroyed, and so that table is now being taken away from the vetting room, and the leaders are now back. We don't know where, around which table they will sit as they come again close to try and ensure that this process is then adhered. This is a lot. The MPs are back after some conversation. They are back in to try and have a conversation as to what to do.
That number, and that is